Hi, this is Chef Joe for CookingEdu.com. These next lessons are going to tackle sauces. Now, a good sauce should never dominate or hide the food. Instead, it should act as a seasoning and enhance and accent the flavors of the food. Now, sauces are made up of a liquid such as stock, milk, melted butter or tomato puree, and a thickening agent. Now this will produce what's called a leading sauce or a mother sauce. There are 5 leading sauces: bechamel, velouté, brown sauce, tomato sauce, and hollandaise. Now these leading sauces are seldom used as a sauce in their entirety, except for tomato and hollandaise, which can be. Their primary function is to be used to make smaller sauces. For instance, a bechamel sauce can make a cheddar cheese sauce or a Mornay sauce. A tomato sauce will make an Italian marinara sauce or meat sauce, a Spanish sauce or Creole sauce. And the brown sauce can be used to make brown gravies and mushroom sauces. We are going to be making all 5 of these leading sauces. Before we get into making our sauces, I want to have a discussion about thickening agents, since they are such an important ingredient for making a good sauce. Now, a thickening agent can be equal parts of cold water and cornstarch, or cold water and arrowroot. They can be breadcrumbs, egg yolk, as we will use when we make our hollandaise sauce, even mashed potatoes. But when we make sauces, the most common thickener is roux. Now there are 3 types of roux. There are white roux, pale roux, and a dark roux. And your final product will be determined by what type of roux you use. For instance, if you're going to be making brown gravies, we'll be using a brown roux. Now, roux are nothing more than equal parts of a fat and flour. I'm using butter for my fat. I have 4 ounces of butter, which I've brought to a low heat stage in my frying pan. Now I'm going to add my flour and gradually, and we're going to whisk it into the butter. And this will form a pasty substance. Now, the longer I cook this, the deeper in color it will get. And as you can see, we have a nice nutty brown color to our roux. If I let this cook just a little bit longer, it'll get a darker brown. But this is a good consistency and a good color for what I want to use it for. Okay, we're going to start by making a brown stock. We have for our ingredients, we have mirepoix, which again is diced up carrots, celery, and onion. And I diced it rather small this time, not large like I would do if I were braising. Some tomato paste, our roux, a little bit of olive oil, and of course our brown stock. Now, if you haven't reviewed our lessons on making your own stock, this would be a good time to go back and take a look at that. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of vegetable oil or olive oil in our stock pot, and we're going to saute our onions from our mirepoix. Next, we're going to add the rest of our mirepoix, our carrots and celery, and saute that up just for a little bit. We're now going to add a little bit of tomato paste. I have about a tablespoon for 2 cups of stock. And we're going to let this cook for a few minutes just to let it settle in. Now we're going to add our stock. We're going to bring this up to a simmer. Now once my stock has come to a simmer, at this point we're going to add our roux. Now when you add roux, you add a little bit at a time and whisk it in. One of the things you must remember when you're adding roux to a sauce, if you don't see it thicken up immediately, don't worry, because the longer it simmers, the thicker it's going to become. So if you want a sauce that's relatively thin in the outcome, don't add a lot of roux at the beginning. We're going to incorporate that roux into our stock, and we're going to let this simmer for about 1 hour. At this point, it would be a good time to add any type of seasonings that you might want. A sachet of spices would be very nice. Okay, my sauce has simmered for about an hour, and I've gone ahead and strained out the mirepoix, and what's left is a nice, beautiful, rich brown sauce. And don't panic. If your sauce isn't exactly dark enough for your liking, you can always add a little kitchen bouquet just to kind of bring out the color a little bit more. But you know when your sauce is done, when the back of a spoon coats, you can coat the back of a spoon and run your finger down the center of it. Now from this sauce, we're going to go ahead and make a demi-glace. And what that is, it's equal parts of this sauce and beef stock, and we're going to let that cook down and reduce. And that's going to take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And it'll reduce it about a half. So if I use 2 cups of this sauce and 2 cups of my beef stock, let that reduce down, I'll have 1 cup of demi-glace. And demi-glace can be used as a gravy. It's great on roast beef, or it can be used to make other sauces also.